Howdy all, lovely to see you all again. As you guys might know, I'm on a bit of a Judas Priest kick at the moment, so I'm going to do a couple of songs in between. It won't be all Judas, but I have a lot of delicious songs to come. But today we're going to be looking at the solo from the Sentinel. It's very delicious, there's some tapping, there's a bunch of cool licks, so I hope you guys dig it. Let's take a look. Alright guys, let's have a look at the first section. I want to start off with this cheeky little tapping lick. I'm going to tap 12 of the first string and pull off to 5. And then I'm going to hammer from that 5 to that 8 and then pull off back to the 5 again. Okay, after that I'm going to tap just from 12 to 5. And then the next thing that I do, I'm going to tap 12 to 7 and pull off to 5. So the way I kind of think of this is I've got a group of 4 at the start, a quick group of 2, and then a group of 3. When you're doing this all fast, it doesn't really matter, but if we want to be nice and anal from the start, we'll take it slow. So my group of 4, group of 2, and then a group of 3. I'm going to do a very similar timing to what I have had at the start now. I'm going to tap 12, and then I'm going to go 5, 7, 5. So all together. At the end of that, I'm going to tap 13 and then roll backwards through this tap, which is playing 8, 7, 5. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far at a gentleman's speed. And we're going to repeat that idea again, so we're going to do the whole thing twice. Hopefully that's all making sense. I'm going to repeat the first group of 4 again, which is going to go 12, 5, 8, 5. And I'm going to do a big string skip, and I'm going to jump to 9 of the third, and then do a tap there and pull off to 5. Add a little bit of a bend if you want to make it a bit gross. At the end of that, I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I'm now on the second string, and I'm doing a tap on 10, and then I'm pulling off to 5, 6, 5. Another group of 4, and then I'm going to tap 9 of the third string, and that's going to go 5, 7, 5. So it'll go. At the end of that, straight sort of bluesy pentatonic riff. Nice and sexy there in A minor, obviously. So I'm doing a bend on 7 of the third, bringing it up and back, pulling off to that 5 on the third, and then jumping to 7 of the fourth. And that's the whole first section. So let's do it relatively slowly and then do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's have a look at the second section. I'm going to start off with a big courageous slide on the 6th string, and I work into this phrase. What I've got here is a flat finger playing 5 of the third into 5 of the second. Then I've got a slight bend on 7 of the third string, and then I'm going to 5 of the third. So all together, then I work into this phrase. Nice and bluesy here. I've got a hammer on from 5 to 7 on the 4th. Then I play 5 of the 3rd as a regular note. And then I follow it up with this lick. Let's slow that down. I'm doing a bend up and back from 7 of the 3rd, pulling off to 5. And then I'm just going to play 7, 5 as 2 single notes. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far at a gentleman's pace. Hopefully that's all making sense. Then I work into this legato lick, which is kind of basically, it's kind of in G Ionian, which would kind of give it an A Dorian vibe if we want to get technical. The way that I'm legatoing this is I'm kind of doing hammer-ons from nowhere, which essentially means that my pinky's hitting the new string before my right hand actually picks the string. So you will get kind of a bit of a slur. So it's not perfectly in sync with your hands changing strings at the same time, but it does have a cool effect. So what I want to do is I'm going to play 8, 7, 5 as a pull-off on the first string, then hammer on from nowhere to 8 of the second string, and that idea is going to follow through the whole legato lick. The second string is going to go 8, 7, 5, and then I'm going to jump to 7 of the third. And then this one, I'm going to play 7, 5, 4, and then jump to 7 of the fourth string from the third to the fourth string. So we've got, if I was to keep that going, I'm going to go 7, 5, 4 on the fourth string, and then jump to 7 of the fifth. I'm going to hit this one again. I've got a double full tone gap playing 7, 5, 3 on the fifth string. And then what I've got, I'm pulling that off, 7, 5, 3, and then I'm going back to the second fret of the fifth string, and I'm playing 2, 3, and resolving that to 5 of the sixth string. So it nearly goes all the way. It's just going to change a little bit on the fifth string. And that's pretty much the whole section. So let's take it slowly from the start, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's have a look at the third section. I'm going to start off with a 4-note phrase that I play exactly the same 3 times. I'm going to hammer 17 to 20, back to 17 on the first string, and then jump to 20 of the second string. And as I said, I'm going to play that 3 times. Okay, at the end of the third group, I'm going to work into this. So what I've got here is I'm playing 17 of the first, 17 of the second, 20 of the first, then back to 17 of the second. So I've got, you can probably mini sweep those if you want to. Okay, now the next bit that I do is going to go like this. It's nearly the same arpeggio twice. I've only got 3 notes on the first one and 4 on the second. So let's go through that slowly. I'm playing 18 of the second string, then hammering 17, 20 on the first. Then I do exactly the same thing, but this one has a pull off. So I'm going to play 17, 20, 17 on the second group. At the end of that, what I've got here is just 17 of the second string and a bend on 20. Add some sexy vibrato if you want. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far, and then we'll add the run at the end of that. Okay, hopefully that's all making sense. The next bit, I'm going to start from 5 of the top string. I'm going to hit that twice, and then the majority of this run is just sort of 3-fingered kind of chromatic notes. Let's take that slowly. I'm going to play 5 twice, and then I'm going to play 3, 4, 5 on the 6th string. And then I'm going to play 5, 6, 7 on the 5th and 4th. And then I'm going to quickly fit in a cheeky 5 on the 3rd. So we're going to go. What I've got here, a rolling chromatic. I'm doing hammer-ons here. I'm doing 7, 8, 9 on the 3rd string. And then I'm going to play 8, 9, 10 on the 2nd string. So all together. At the end of that, I'm going to play 8 of the 1st string and then 10 of the 2nd. That's pretty much the whole section. Let's go back to those hammer-ons at the start, put it all together, and then we'll do it again once again, even solos and tabs. You guys saw that coming. Anyway, here we go. One more time with some tabs. let's have a look at the fourth section. This is going to start in a pretty weird manner, so be patient with me. What I want to do is slide from 9 to 5 on the third, and I work into this. What I've got here is a quick hammer on from 5 to 7 on the fourth, and then I jump to 5 with the third, and I work into this. Quite strange. I'm sliding from 3 to 5 on the 6th string, and then doing a pull off from 7 to open on the 4th. So all together, pretty strange, but more in key than Slayer. Anyway, enough of that. Then we work into this phrase. I'm being very squealy here. Kind of treat it like a ZZ Top lick if you want. Just squeal the crap out of everything. I was playing 5/7 on the 4th, and I was playing 5 of the 3rd, and then back to 7 of the 4th. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far. Okay, then we work into this phrase. What I've got here is 8 pull-offs in a row from 10 to 8 on the 2nd string. As I do that, slight whammy drop, and then I work into this phrase. What I'm doing here, back to sort of an A minor pentatonic, I'm playing 5 of the 3rd, 7 of the 4th, then bending 7 of the 3rd. Alright, let's have a look at what we've got thus far. There's one more little arpeggio at the end that will lead us into section 5, which we'll do in a bit, but let's have a look at what we've got thus far. Okay, at the end of that, I work into this, which is going to get us in position for that bit that comes up in a jiffy. So I'm going to play 13 of the 2nd string, and then work into an F major arpeggio, which is playing 15 of the 4th, 14 of the 3rd, and then 13 on the 1st and the 2nd. I'm just rolling that flat finger. So I'm back picking that 13 at the start, and then sweeping through from the 4th. That's pretty much the whole section. So let's do it slowly, and then we'll do it again even slower, some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Okay, so this is the sweep arpeggio section. It's actually relatively slow, and you will want to get a lot of mutes just to deal with those flat-fingered strings not ringing into each other. So the first arpeggio I have is based around an F minor, major rather. We've just come from at the end of the last section. So what I'm doing here is a pull off from 17 to 13 on the 1st string, jumping to 13 of the 2nd. Then I want to play 14 of the 3rd string, and then make my way back. So I'm essentially going to do a 6-note arpeggio and then the first 3 notes again. So I've got 3 triplets there. Now, because we've gone from the lead and arpeggio before, you're going to kind of have these notes. It's essentially the same 6-note arpeggio twice. So we're going to borrow that kind of idea when I go over to the next group. So I'm starting from 11 of the 3rd string, and then playing a flat finger on 10 of the 2nd and the 1st string. And then I have to pull off from 14 to 10, and then I'm resolving that to 10 of the 2nd string. So that's my next group of 6. I'm going to repeat that again. So keep in mind where we've come from the group before. We're going to have this. And I've got a group of 3 triplets. And I've got 2 straight groups of 6. I've got a very similar idea now. So what I've got here, my entry to this arpeggio, I'm going to play 7 of the 3rd, 8 of the 2nd, and then I have 7 of the 1st string. Now, I do find that after you've gone from the flat fingers, it is weird to go back to separate fingers. So I do have a flat pointer covering 7 of the 1st and the 3rd string. So the start of that, I'm playing 7 of the 3rd, 8 of the 2nd, 7 of the 1st, and then I'm going to pull off from 10 to 7, work my way back up the arpeggio, and then I do it again. But this one I'm only doing sort of the sus4, so I'm doing a pull off from 8 to 7 on the second half of that arpeggio. I do a very similar idea now. The starting part of this arpeggio, I'm playing 4 of the 3rd string, 5 of the 2nd, and 4 of the 1st. Now this pull-off's going quite far. I'm doing a pull-off from 8 to 4 and then going up the arpeggio. Then I do it again. But this one pulls off from 7 to 4. So I'll show you those again back to back, nice and slow. At the end of that, I'm just going to end with those 3 notes as setting up the arpeggio, playing 4, 5, and 4. So let's keep in mind where we've come from. I'm going to put this all together from the lead in from the end of the last group, then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. So leading. One more time, some tabs. Alright guys, let's have a look at the 6th section. I want to start off with a pinch harmonic bend from 8 of the 6th string. Up and back, and I hit it twice, and then I work into this phrase. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing 5, 3, 5 on the 6th string. Slightly squealed. And then I'm going to play 3, 5, and then if you want to, you can add a slight slide from 5 to 7 on the 5th. So from the start, then I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. So what I've got here, a hammer on from 5 to 7 on the 5th, and then a hammer on going 5, 7, 5 with a pull off on the 4th string. After that, I've just got 2 straight pull offs going, 2 straight hammers going from 4 to 5 on the 4th, and 5 to 7 on the 4th string. That's going to sound like this. From a bit before now. Okay, at the end of that, I work into this phrase, but we'll put that all together in a minute. So what I've got here is a hammer into a pull off, going 5, 7, 5 on the 3rd, and then just 4, 5. So let's go from the start of this whole section thus far. Hopefully that's making sense. The next part is just all hammer-ons. It is harmonized on the record. I have picked my favorite, but you can divide this up with a friend if you wish it be. I'm going to do hammer-ons into pull-offs for the whole thing here. So it's going to be little chunks of 3 notes at a time. I'm going to start off by going 4, 5, 4 on the 3rd string, then 5, 7, 5 on the 3rd string. Okay, after that I'm going to jump to the 2nd string and go 5, 6, 5. Then go across to 6, 8, 6. So we've got, hopefully that's all making sense. Then I jump way up, 10, 12, 10, 12, 13, 12, then 13, 15, 13. Then I'm going to change strings and jump to the 1st, 10, 12, 10. So all together. At the end of that, I'm going to work into this. So what I've got here, that's right, I'm going to go 12, 13, 12 on the 1st string, then 13, 15, 13, then another full tone, 15, 17, 15, then 17, 19, 17. So let's go from the start of all of these mini groups of 3. To finish that off, what I've got there, I'm bending 20 of the 1st string up and back, and then I'm just going to play 19, 17 as regular notes, and then I'm going to play 20 of the 2nd string as a regular note and a bend. That's all of section 6. So let's work through that relatively slowly and then do it again with some tabs. All silence and tabs. the last chunk. We're just going to work through that little lick before the end of the solo. Very good time. So I'm going to start off by arpeggiating through. This is just a basic power chord shape starting from 7 of the 4th and 9 of the 3rd. I'm going to go nice and muted here. I'm going to go 5, 4, 3, then back to the 4th string. After that, I work into sort of a C-sus formation. I've got a flat pointer covering the 5th fret from the 4th string down, and then I'm also playing 6 of the 2nd string. I'm just going to arpeggiate up from the 2nd string. The same thing again, but I'm going to do a straight chord instead of the sus. And just work up from the 2nd string. At the end of that, I've got 2 sort of major shapes here based around a G and an F. I was playing 3, 4 and 5 from the 2nd to the 4th string. Then I drag it back to the F position, 2 frets, and it's going to be the same thing going 1, 2, 3. All together. At the end of that, I've got 2 arpeggiations from an A suspended 2nd chord. I'm playing 2 of the 3rd and 2 of the 4th, and the arpeggiations going from the 2nd string to the 4th twice. At the end of that, I'm playing 3, 2 on the 5th as single notes, and then I'm playing an A5 chord together, which is just an open 5th string with 2 of the 4th. That's pretty much the whole section. Let's do it relatively slowly, and then once again even slower some tabs. One more time, some tabs. And that was the solo to the Sentinel by Judas Priest. Hope you guys have enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all very soon.